So, where do I start?
It looks like he does, and he will! Brilliant swing, McEvoy. Chalmers is going to get there, and McEvoy is 7.04. Unbelievable. He's just broken the criminal record.
So, for me, from the age of about 9 up until March 2020, when COVID restrictions came in, the most I had break out of the pool, out of the regular training cycle, was 3 weeks a year. So effectively, I had 18 years of almost consistent training in the water, where that training consisted of, going back that far, anywhere between 30 and 70 Ks in the water, week in, week out. So by the time 2020 came around, I was pretty severely burnt out for a number of reasons. One of them being the repetition of the same seasonal approach year in, year out, doing the same type of sessions and virtually getting the same type of results. There was very little novelty left in that. And so when that COVID break happened, I was very secretly excited that everything was cancelled, nothing was on. I didn't have the guilt of needing to get back in for an Olympics, because that was at that time cancelled. So basically what I did was I spent maybe 3 months just doing absolutely nothing. Kind of got bored of that eventually, and then decided, first thought to myself, okay, I've been an athlete for 20 odd years, a little bit longer. I've done gym, I've done swimming, but I've never done strength training properly, in the sense where every time I've done gym, I've had such a giant aerobic load that just zaps any strength gains, that I've never really seen the full benefits of that. So I decided to go to just the local gym. I went 6 times a week, had no performance aspect in mind. Just wanted to go, just wanted to see how much I can lift, see how much weight I can put on. Went from 72 kilos to 81 within a couple of months. And during that period, which I was loving so much, swimming slowly came back, training came back, but I opted not to go back. Effectively, I was done, ready to move on. And then what happened was, about 7 months into my break, one of my mates who I was training with did a dive 50 freestyle in training, and he told me the time. And it was, I guess, like a training pool record type of thing, fastest someone's done in training. And so that kind of pricked my ears a bit. And so I decided to, without getting in the water at all, 7 months away, not one stroke, I decided to throw a suit on, 10 kilos heavier, go to the local pool and get him to come along, film it and time it, and do a dive 50 and see if I can beat it. And not only did I beat it, but I was almost half a second quicker than the times I was doing for the 50 free in the middle of an Olympic prep, 3 months out from Olympic trials. And so what I decided to do was slowly dip my feet back into the water. And then what happened was January rolled around, and then I guess the traditional approach kind of called me back. Spent the next 4 months getting back into that normal routine, and every month we had a comp. I effectively got to the end of the Olympic prep, and I rushed getting back into the water because I wanted to go to the postponed Olympics. So I didn't quite get that break that I wanted. I wasn't mentally refreshed, still pretty burnt out. So I did Tokyo, and then decided to have the next 12 months off, pretty much. So in that year off post-Tokyo, it was the first time in my life that I was free to basically do whatever I wanted, and didn't have a swimming schedule, didn't have commitments in the swimming world, so to speak. And so, yeah, I did a range of things. I traveled quite a bit, went through Europe, went around Australia. We put everything in storage, rented an RV and drove down the east coast of Australia, got to Sydney on a whim, put in for a 6-month lease down there, and we got it. So we ended up being in Sydney for 8 months. I got really deep into rock climbing. I did a ton of bouldering. I probably went maybe like 5 times a week for maybe 2 to 4 hours a session. The level of strength that they could exert relative to what I'd ever been exposed to kind of was it opened my mind to what the possibilities could be for transferring whatever I can develop into the water, especially off the back of the exposure I had to better strength at the end of 2020, a different training approach, and what could be the potential of that as well. virtually, although everything, I was free to move forward into whatever I was doing, and I did go into a lot of things, everything was referenced back to, okay, how can this improve my particular events in swimming? I never lost that cue to I guess, try and transfer anything I'm exposed to the water. So right now, before I chose to move to Brisbane, I spent a long time sitting down and thinking about the particular approach I wanted and what I would ideally want things to look like by the time Paris rolled around. And for me, that was being the quickest I can be over a 50 metre and 100 metre swim. Basically, how well I can exert energy in the freestyle shape for 21 seconds and for 48 seconds. Southeast Queensland has, for as long as I've been swimming, the largest number of people on the swim team every year. QAS Brisbane, the base of that, is the biggest hub for that, and there's also the pool up the road here, which has it's $1 million block, and basically any form of data that you can think of in your dive, along with the swimming metrics, the video feedback, timing. You think of it'll be able to produce it for you. I wanted to work at the microsecond level almost daily, or as often as possible, and get as accurate as possible with my training. Right now, I'm working a multitude of people, so strength and conditioning, Dan and Scotty, which is, both guys bring a wealth of experience, especially Scotty coming from Great Britain with their swim program, their speed cycling program. In particularly in that area, we've been able to kind of take some of their approach and apply it to what I'm doing in the water, which is really cool. Physio, I've been working with Zoe, Biomex, Beck and Nick, which, I mean, within the first 4 weeks of being here, my time from a dive to 15 metres reduced by 0.4 of a second, which is wild in terms of, I guess, an overall time from 50 metres, let alone a 15 metres. So that's been friggin' incredible. Nutrition with Ali Disha, so it's just a massive support network that I actually have never had exposure to in my swimming career. But in saying that, I've been working very closely with Tim Lane. He's moved up over a year ago to Somerville Aquatic, and they've welcomed me with open arms. They've provided a really nice training environment there. And Tim's own expertise in both his own swimming experience as a swimmer, also as a coach over in the college NCAA system over in the States, and particularly the type of training he was exposed to over there, which was, I guess, different to the general approach. A lot of resistance training, a lot of experience, and I guess practice in the different approaches with that too. So just the wealth of knowledge that Tim has in that. Also the past swimmers that he's coached, working with Tim has basically been a really, really nice substitute to collaborate with and work alongside with as we deal with basically the whole season leading into Paris. So we're over a year away from Paris 2024, and my goals are simply put, be as fast as I can over 50 metres and 100 metres in freestyle. And I'd love to be a valuable asset for the Aussie men's 4x1 freestyle relay team. We've got insane depth in that event, and to be a part of that not only would be amazing to be in that team environment, but also to be a part of a team that has the potential to go forth and win a gold medal in that event. And so, effectively everything that we're doing as a team is just trying to optimize that when that time comes.